This is how you save a ton of money sowing seeds in the winter and the mistakes you need to avoid if you want to have success for transplanting them in the spring. My name is Cynthia, and here we talk about tips and ideas and how-to videos so that you can create that amazing outdoor space that you so much dream of. And so if you like that kind of thing, subscribe and hit the little bell so you don't miss any videos when I post them every week. Maybe in your area, it's horrible weather this winter, but you know what? That does not mean that you can't get anything done. There's plenty to do in your garden, even if you have to do it indoors. I'm going to give you 3 tips that are really going to help you understand how to sow the seeds, but also the mistakes you need to avoid so that when it comes time to transplant your seedlings, you don't have half of them dead. Tip number 1 is going to be all about your pots. Last spring, I was super frustrated because I had chosen the wrong pots and I lost a lot more seedlings than ever before. I need to explain to you why using the proper pots makes a big difference. I need to caution you about the size of the pots that you use. You see all over Pinterest, you'll find that you can use recyclables and all kinds of little pots, including egg cartons or whatever for your seedlings, and that's wonderful. However, you should consider the size. These are for creating plugs, and to create a plug, it's very fast. You will have a little seedling very quickly. And so if you start growing something like this and you start too soon, you are going to have dead plants at some point or another. If you really want to have success, start with the 3-inch pots or bigger. Then once you master those, you can always get to the little small plugs. I took an old ham container that I got from Sam's Club and I repurposed it. I took a screwdriver, warmed up the tip, and used that to poke some holes underneath to create the drainage holes. And then what I like about this is it has its own lid, which creates a sort of greenhouse. Here's another cute and uncomplicated way to use 3-inch clay pots. I just added a plastic cup on top and I can have the same greenhouse effect with this. Tip number 2 is going to be all about your soil. The soil that you choose is going to make a huge difference on your success. I asked my husband to go get me some soil for my seeds and he came home with this. And then I was like, no, don't do that. He wasn't aware that there's specific soil that you must use if you're going to sow your seeds indoors. That's a big one. It's huge. Let's talk about that. I can understand why my husband was confused about potting soil, and maybe you are too. You may think that potting soil sometimes is used in container gardening. It holds plenty of moisture. It should work for seeds. But the thing is that the consistency of this soil is very different than the consistency that we need to start seeds. Take a look at this soil. This soil is the one that we are going to use for starting seeds, and this consistency is a lot fluffier and lighter, and this is going to be moistened and then we're going to add the seeds. This is really what we need for starting our seeds, and there are specific seed starting mixes out in the market. Comment down below and tell me, what mistakes have you made in the past that has cost you a lot of lost seedlings? Our community probably wants to know. Tip number 3 is really more about how you actually sow them and how you nurture and take care of them up until the time that you are going to put them in the ground. Here are the 3 elements that any seed needs to grow properly. It needs proper light, water, and time. If any of those 3 are out of whack, you won't have as much success. The light requirement is 6 or more hours of direct sunlight, usually 6 to 8, but at least 6 hours of direct sunlight. A window with indirect sunlight might not be enough, and you may need to purchase artificial lights that simulate the sunlight. Sometimes people get really excited about starting their seeds indoors in the winter. They can't wait for spring, but they start them too soon. And I've done this myself, and this is how I know. And then your plants end up getting stressed out because they should already be in the ground and your ground is still too cold. Pay attention to the dates it tells you in the back. Some of the seed cards even say it is recommended that you start indoors or it is recommended that you start outdoors. For example, radish doesn't take very long to germinate. It's better to just go ahead and start that outside in the ground, because by the time you've done it inside and they're already struggling, you could have probably already had them just as fast outside doing it directly in the ground. So you're probably really excited to go ahead and start sowing your seeds indoors, and you're like, yeah, let me go get the stuff to get started. But then you're like, well, Cynthia, what plants should I go ahead and do? What seeds should I buy? Well, I do have a 24-page cheat sheet that I am gifting you where it'll give you different ideas. It's a brainstorming type of thing with different lists that are perfect for certain scenarios. But I decided to add another page that is seeds or plants that are perfect to start with seed, because when I was making this video, I realized that not all plants are great to start from seed. Some of them are better if you propagate them from cuttings. Some of them are better if you divide them and that's how you propagate. And then there's other seeds that will grow and will do great, but they won't produce fruit or anything for a while. So when it's started from seed, unless you're a scientist and you're wanting to like experiment and do this kind of thing, sometimes it's better to just get them at the garden center. So I have put a list together of plants that are actually good to start from seed. And these are the ones that are going to help you save money and will make your garden like super lush. If you're interested in that guide, just go ahead and click on the link below and you can get that for free. Check out these other videos if you want more tips and ideas. And if you like this video, give me that thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe and share this with other friends who'd love to garden. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Remember that you can create bliss in your garden.